Right. Hi, everybody. Our proposal is advocating for the use of artificial intelligence in education. We believe it can and does benefit students to use it appropriately, and we believe that with proper guidelines and instruction, it can be a really great learning tool for students and for faculty. So what do we want students to do with ChatGPT? First, create their own study material. There are specific study tools for different subjects and areas of education, including math, writing, and test prep. And students can access these tools for a lot of different classes and use it to their advantage to study. Explain material in new ways. ChatGPT can be used to explain concepts to students in ways that make sense to them and clarify what they've learned in classes. Generate creative ideas. ChatGPT and other AI systems are simplifying ways to brainstorm and come up with new, innovative ideas. We need to be sure that we're using it to supplement our own intelligence and ideas rather than replacing them. Ask specific questions about problems. Using AI for research is a big part of education right now, and it will be in the future. So answers to specific questions are quick and easy to find and will help students in the learning process. What we don't want students to use ChatGPT for is using it to solve complex problems for them. Students should still develop their own reasoning and problem-solving skills, and letting AI come up with all of their solutions will result in students who are dependent on technology and unable to think for themselves. Here we go. Writing whole assignments using a given prompt. Writing skills are thinking skills, and students should use AI to brainstorm, not to formulate opinions or complete entire assignments. And then replace critical thinking. Again, AI isn't designed to replace human thinking skills. It can offer accurate responses to inquiries, but it's still a developing technology, and students should be taught to evaluate and double check its answers. All right, so helping students learn to use AI effectively. First, we can instruct them on how to engineer prompts to get their desired results. A big part of learning to use AI is learning what kind of prompts or questions to use to get the information that you need. Understanding how to create effective prompts leads to more accurate, focused, and useful information. Encourage critical thinking about the output. As students consider the responses they receive from ChatGPT, they might consider altering their questions to be sure they are using clarity and proper context and precision and role playing. Using it in combination with traditional writing to communicate effectively. AI can help generate new ideas to write about as a research tool and as an editor and proofreader. Of course, students should round out information they receive from ChatGPT with their own thoughts and opinions. And then teaching how AI will be useful in students' specific fields of study and future careers. Students should receive instruction on how to use AI in their specific fields. Engineering and math students, for example, will learn to use it in different ways than humanities majors will. Okay, so how are colleges using AI right now? Colleges are finding more and more useful ways to incorporate AI into their learning systems and help students. The creation of chatbots that students can use to easily navigate websites have been developed. So colleges are uploading class catalogs and course lists to help students create their own schedules, and then they're using ChatGPT to help students navigate these relevant websites and sources so that they can get help after normal business hours. Personalized tutoring by bots, rather than students having to attend in-person tutoring sessions, bots can be helpful personal tutors and can kind of cater to the needs of specific students. Tracking individual student performance with intervention if necessary. Struggling students or those at risk of failing classes can be tracked easily with AI, and aid can be offered for tutoring and other interventions. And then personal education plans and assignments for students with learning challenges. Many hours are spent by the ADA and special education counselors creating IEP lesson plans, and using AI to create these lesson plans can save them a lot of time and help those students who require them still. All right, there we go. Okay, so our experience with AI within this team, along with being current students at USU, each of us has had personal experience with AI in our jobs or courses that we've taken, and we each have a unique perspective on modern technological developments from our studies and have been able to clearly identify the pros and cons of using AI in a classroom through our own experience. Jennifer works in the school's IT office. I'm Quinn, and I am minoring in data analytics, and I'm currently working on research into the use of AI with one of my professors. And then Alexis has studied the use of technology in education and as part of her secondary education program. So what needs to change? First, professors and resources should address the appropriate use of AI. So during one of her teaching clinicals, Alexis found that students benefited more from AI programs like ChatGPT when provided with adequate instruction and guidelines for using them in an appropriate way that enhances their learning abilities instead of kind of limiting them. So if professors address AI this way, students at UC will benefit similarly. Simple and regular instruction. So these guidelines need to be touched on and referred back to ensure that students have a clear understanding of what's expected and that they're continually aware of the tools available to them. And then incorporate AI into learning and study. This is the last step, and it's the most important because it requires professors to learn how to use new technology to their benefit and to use, to model the guidelines that they expect for their students. Students need to have opportunities to practice using these tools outside the classroom and maximize their own critical thinking skills and creativity in the real world using AI. And the more professors provide specific instruction on how to use and practice using these tools, ChatGPT specifically is a big one that is being used in education right now. The more likely it is that students will carry those developed skills with them into the workforce. And that is everything we have. Thank you so much.